Hey, Scruffy. So, that's new, huh? Watching me from the window instead of waiting at the door. You're getting clever. So I'll open the door here. And you got your food. So we got the same as last few nights. Super supper pate, kibble, chicken skin, and your earth. Yeah. So, not long ago when I came into the kitchen to get ready for dinner, Scruffy was on top of the big table looking in the window. He's never done that before dinner. He always waits at the door. So that's new. So maybe he's getting clever. Watch me come into the kitchen and he knows dinner's ready, or come in once I enter. I'm not sure what prompted that. You know what? I forgot to start the microwave. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get my dinner cooking. Okay, I gotta be right back. I forgot something. Okay, I'm back. Scruffy hissed at me as I came back to the door. He had gotten up and starting to walk towards the door. And then he saw me and hissed. Okay, so I'm gonna put the food on the table, grab the glove, try to get the glove on, one-hand it. Okay. Yeah, so Scruffy threw me off when he was on the table. So I forgot to start my dinner, or cooking my dinner. So it heated up quite a bit today. It's a very, very warm day. It wasn't unreasonably hot though, which is good. I was a little worried it was going to get into that very painfully hot territory, but we seem to have averted that, at least for today. Fortunately, the forecast is very similar weather to today, going out forward into the forecast, so I'm not sure what to expect. So it may get hotter, may cool down, may stay the same, who knows. Forecast has been a little bit off. It's generally gotten the trend right, but it's we're in this temperature zone where it seems to be swinging 10 degrees in a given day, so it makes a difference if it's going to be uncomfortable or not. So I went for a bike ride this afternoon. Since it wasn't outrageously hot, I felt like I think I can manage a bike ride. Definitely wasn't going to run. Because I ran yesterday. I think I ran yesterday. Yeah, I ran yesterday. So I think I'm developing a corn. I think it's corn. I don't know, it's a callus. I don't know. on one of my toes, and it's kind of uncomfortable. It's rubbing, so it's irritated as well. So I think I'm gonna have to shop for a corn pad or something like that. So anyway, with the bicycling, I think I irritate my feet a little bit less, though I think it has more to do with my shoes, which is another reason I need to break in a new pair of shoes. So it was kind of not quite climbing there, he was kind of just grabbing, and I was trying to stroke him as he was doing that, but when he does that, yeah, it's hard to move. So anyway, I went for a bike ride, still trying to take it easy. So today, once again, I stuck to the paved paths, didn't go on any of the dirt trails, even though I did it last time. But the reason I did it last time was because of that special anniversary event at the park. And there was traffic, and so I felt like I needed to stay off the paved roads. But I worry a little bit about the trails because I don't want to re-injure my hip or leg or whatever the problem is. And I'm thinking that kind of the sudden jarring movement of dirt trails may potentially require me to shift a muscle group or something in the wrong way suddenly and may cause me injury, whereas if I stay on kind of a more predictable paved trails, I'm less likely to make sudden movements. But it's a little warm, but yeah, overall it's a nice ride. I saw 4 deer. So I saw 1 deer cross the road in front of me as I was biking kind of the final leg into the main campgrounds. So it was on the main vehicle road. And there was a deer just decided, I'm going to cross in front of you. And then I came across a second deer a little further down that was grazing on the edge of the road. Fortunately, because it was a vehicle road, I wasn't going to drive deeper into the street to give it a wide berth. But the deer was pretty brave, just kind of held its ground as I passed by. As I got right next to it, it did move a little bit. Just get a little more distance from me, but it more or less held its ground, so pretty brave deer. Not like Scruffy. And then I came across, 2 more deer. They were kind of, I think, grazing, so it was, I think it was a mama deer and a baby deer. And then when they saw me coming, they decided to cross the road and climb up the hillside to get some distance from me. Fortunately, didn't have a camera or anything. So, something like a GoPro would be handy if I want to record that type of stuff. Don't have one though. And let's see, what else? I saw it. Yeah, there was a squirrel, really brave or stupid squirrel, as I was climbing uphill, decided to cut in front of me, cross in front of my front tire, and then stop right after it finished crossing. So It basically is getting very close to, my leg on the other side, because it just kind of stopped short of the wheel after it stopped or passed the wheel. But since I was going uphill, I was going pretty slow, so I guess if I got too close, the squirrel has a fast enough reaction time to still get out of the way. But yeah, kind of a brave or stupid squirrel. Not sure which. So Scruffy's calming down here. He might be ready for food. Might be why he's eyeballing through the window also. They were about a half hour early today, so I think we were later last night, I think. Or maybe it was the night before, I don't remember. Okay, let's get your food. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out last night, I think Scruffy shed that big chunk of fur that was hanging on his underneath his belly on this side of his, on his right side. So I was looking for it last night. I didn't see it, but I couldn't tell if it was just because it was tucked under his body or if he had actually shed it. So I reviewed the footage last night, and yeah, he did seem to shed it. So there's still a dangling piece of fur on the other side of his belly, but it's not as big as the... So I'm not brushing that part. Okay, I'm done. So you can see there's a piece hanging out there. That one's still hanging out, but the other piece is much, much bigger. So I haven't looked around the yard to see where he dropped it. But I tried petting him just because he's on the other side of the bowl now. So yeah, I didn't see much of Scruffy today, actually. Yeah, I didn't see him early this morning. Saw him briefly on the table late morning, but he was gone soon after, and I didn't have my camera then. And then around lunchtime, I didn't see him on the table still, so I decided to bring out his water. And yeah, he was under the table, or he was on the deck behind on the other side of the table. So I think he waited for me to go back inside before he drank the water. So. He stopped eating. I hope he's not going to throw up. Uh-oh. He's going to throw up. And he's having that gag reflex. He's barely started eating though. So here it comes. So it usually comes in threes, but he just started eating, so there's probably not that much to throw up. So here's number two. And he just barely landed it on the mat, so I guess I'm pleased it wasn't on the deck. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, it's pate and chicken skin, so it looks like he gagged on the chicken skin. So since he hadn't consumed most of it, most of his food's still there, fresh, so I guess he's just going to take a break and come back to eating. I'm not sure if I should leave him alone or if I should continue sitting here. Yeah, that piece of chicken skin that he threw up, it looks like it's one of the bigger chunks, so I probably should have cut that a little smaller. So I think this is the quickest he's ever thrown up. So usually he's much further through the food and he throws up more. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, so I didn't see him most of the day. Came out to the water, and then finally, when I came to prepare dinner, he was. And when I came in, yeah, to the kitchen, you know, he was sitting on the big table looking in, and yeah, it looked like he was waiting for me to come in, I guess. So, like I said, he's never done that before. So after he saw me, immediately grabbed the camera. So, and then after a few moments, he decided, I guess, yeah, he decided to jump off the table and then come over here to the door and wait for me. He's a little lucky tonight, I think, because I actually started preparing I started preparing dinner before I actually left for my bike ride. So all I had to really do is pop in stuff into the microwave and then mix the rest of his food. So I keep the chicken skin in the fridge. So and keep his wet cat food in the fridge as well. So I mixed that in at the last moment. But normally when I don't prepare ahead, I have to prepare my dinner and I have to do my stupid ice cube rotation. So I'm basically manually making ice cubes, and then I'm putting them into thermoses. And I keep the thermoses in the refrigerator because there's not enough space in the freezer. And every night, I spend a bunch of time basically rotating the ice cubes and getting the new batch thrown in the thermoses, taking the water from the thermoses that have melted and using that for drinking water, and making new batches of ice cubes for tomorrow. And I did forget to refill my thermos from my bike trip today, so I gotta still do that. So I should have spent time doing that. It's even slow tonight. The vomit's really slowed him down. So let's see what else I see at the park. But yeah, I think I came across a roadkill snake. I didn't really notice it until I was like basically on top of it. At first I thought it was just, I just kind of ignored it. I thought it was just, tar on the road, or some junk or something like a string or rope or something that had fallen off a car. But as I was almost on top of it, yeah, it looked like it was a completely flat snake. And yeah, the park actually wasn't that busy today. There's actually been some construction going on at the park. They've been doing various things. Like there's a retaining wall, so there's like a trail above the main access road, and they built a while ago. They built a big, I think they call it a retaining wall. I guess the earth won't collapse and slide and fall into the road. And since I started biking again, so it's a month or so, I noticed they've been doing construction on the retaining wall. So it looks like, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I noticed that for the big anniversary event the other day, they completely cleared out all the construction. So all evidence that there was construction going on disappeared for that day. But interestingly, a lot of it came back today. So it's like, they really tried to clean up the events, but they weren't done. So anyway, I noticed, the retaining wall work was back. There was a truck parked nearby. The cones were out. And it looked like bolts that I think are used to secure the planks into retaining wall had been partially removed, so I'm guessing they're replacing a bunch of things. I was a little surprised to see so many bolts removed at the same time with actually nobody there actively working on it. I think if you're just going to leave it like that, there'd be a risk of collapse if you're not careful about quickly keep putting it back together. But I don't know anything, so. And yeah, all evidence of the big anniversary event was cleaned up, so I couldn't tell well, except for one thing, I couldn't tell there was a big event. They cleaned up really well. The one thing was they did actually spray paint or outline in orange like all the tripping hazards, something like little potholes or things somebody might get hurt on, not paying attention to where they step. They had painted a bright orange chalk or paint around all those obstacles for the event, and that's still there, which I presume they'll just let fade away. But yeah, everything was cleaned up really well. I was actually trying to remember where exactly the rock climbing tower was placed. I knew roughly where it was, but when I looked in that vicinity again, I was kind of second guessing myself because I forgot. So where I was looking, there were still a lot of trees in the area, and that rock climbing tower was pretty high, and it wasn't touching any trees. And I was trying to think, okay, did they actually fit this thing like in this spot, or am I misremembering where they put it exactly? So I'm not sure. But yeah, as I said, they had a rock climbing tower the other day at the festival, and certainly a standout thing. I don't remember ever. I've actually never seen a spontaneous rock climbing tower just set up in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know you could do that. Pretty cool that you can. So basically, it was like a cylinder. So, so basically, I just erected a big cylinder that had rock climbing fake rocks all around it, 360 degrees around the cylinder, and so they could have people climbing up, any side of the tower, or any part of the tower, because it's circular. There were safety harnesses kind of all around the tower, so you could have different people climbing up, and the rope, I guess rope coverage all around it, and it they had cables, I guess, plowed into the ground to secure the tower to keep it, I guess, from blowing over or whatever. So actually, I think one of them was actually not secured directly to the ground, but there was a big giant tractor trailer that was secured to. It's interesting. Scruffy's going for the thrown up chicken skin when there's still about half the food left in the bowl. So we'd rather go for the the easy vomit that's in front of him rather than move the balls. He's eating really slow tonight. That vomit event really slowed him down. Cleaned up the pate he threw up too. So I'm due for, running the dishwasher again tonight. I screwed up the other day and I forgot to start it. I thought I had started it, but apparently I didn't. So yeah, the dishwasher I have, the interface is a little finicky. It has a little push button panel on the very, very top of the edge of the door. So when you close it, so you actually have to push the button before you close it because it's on the top of the door. There's not enough clearance to get your finger on the button because the countertop blocks it. And so you have to basically push the button and then close the door completely within, I want to say, like 3 seconds. And if you don't do it perfectly, the dishwasher doesn't start. If I was paying a little closer attention, I can listen for the noise. But I think when I started it, or when I thought I had started it the other night, I was in a hurry and I just didn't bother waiting around to listen for the noise. It's a relatively quiet dishwasher, so especially when it starts. When it gets into its mid-cycle, it gets noisier, but when it first starts, it's actually pretty quiet. But yeah, it's getting old, so I'm worried it's probably going to be the next appliance to die. So I already lost a refrigerator, a freezer, laundry washing machine. Haven't had to replace the dryer yet, so that's also potentially a thing to go next. Yeah, that was loud. Surprised Scruffy jumped though, because it's not close. So I hope that doesn't cause him to throw up again. Make him nervous. Lose his lunch. And then, yeah, the water heater, I need to replace that. Keep putting it off. So I keep looking for a sale. I haven't seen any. And then because of the lockdowns, I didn't really want to replace it since everyone is afraid to make contact with anybody. But yeah, now that the lockdowns are, I think, I'm hoping they're over, but I don't know. It seems like, yeah, there are elements that want to bring them back. So anyway, yeah, I gotta get that water heater replaced. And then, yeah, I lost the air conditioning unit, had to replace that. Scruffy was making big chomping motions there. Starting to get a little worried again. I think he's okay. Wow, this is a really slow dinner. Shifting my chair here. I'm slouching pretty badly. So I'm going to move the balls for Scruffy since he moved away. So there's a little bit more left. So it's pretty close to me needing to move the balls. But yeah, he's really jumpy. Just me shifting in the chair. It's enough to get him to run away. So I guess he's not that hungry anymore. So I'm not going to give him extra food tonight. So he threw up so early, and most of the food was still there. Plus I gave him extra to begin with. Plus he ended up eating it all. So, including the stuff that he threw up. So I don't think he needs any extra food tonight. But yeah, it's a lot better when he throws up early. I think when the very first vomits he did, they were, I think, always after he finished eating. And then I think the very first 1 or 2 vomits he did, I didn't actually see. I think he threw up after the fact, like he ran off or ran down, and then he threw up. And I didn't see him throw up, or I didn't notice that he threw up. But yeah, since then though, yeah, he's usually throwing up in the middle of the meal. Okay, folks, guess that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.